Hey, it's Mika. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. I cannot wait to answer them. And a very special thank you to Romeo for having me on the show. So, the first question on my computer down here is from Rachel, who is from Westmont. Out of all the songs you've ever recorded, which is your favourite and why? You know what? It probably has to be a song called Over My Shoulder, which is something that I recorded after having a terrible week. I was 17 years old. I was still at school, and I wrote this song hiding in a little kind of cubicle at school, which we used to have these practice cubicles, and that's where I wrote the song, hiding from the world. And I went and I recorded it in the garage of a friend's house. He had a little home studio, and I had no idea that I would record something that would end up on my first album. And I just know I did it in like 50 minutes, 45 minutes, and I didn't have time to record much. And I finished it, and then I listened to it. I was like, okay, this is the first thing I've ever recorded that I can say sounds kind of special. So, of course, it has a special significance for me. It's Over My Shoulder and it's from my first album. It's actually a hidden track. Katie from Doncaster. When will album 4 be released? Album number 4 will be released when it's finished. It'll be finished and released next year. That's the intention. No, I mean that's what I'm working towards. It's literally about 2 or 3 days since the anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of The Origin of Love, which was my last album, my third, and so now I'm starting number 4. I've already written a few songs. I'm back at work after this crazy long road trip I've been on. My first proper holiday in like 6 years. It took 6 weeks with my dog and my friends, and we drove around Europe. And now I'm back at work. I'm in London, and I'm actually talking to you from my study in my place in London. Christine from Denver, I love Denver, wants to know what my favourite colour is. Christine, for real? uh, I don't know. I don't really have one, but to tell you the truth, I always say I don't have one, but I grew up surrounded by girls, and I've got 3 sisters, and so in that case, I probably have to say my favourite colour out of reaction growing up was always blue. I insisted on wearing blue all the time. Blue and yellow. So there's that. I hope that's good enough. Jasmine from Cincinnati. Are you planning on touring the USA in the near future? I would love to see you again. Thank you, because quite frankly, touring the States is one of my favorite things to do as a musician. As a touring musician, firstly it's huge, and the audience is really giving and diverse, and it's just a pleasure. It's a real pleasure to play in America. The crowd is vocal and reactive, and you feel like a musician. You stand on stage, and 2 weeks into an American tour, I kind of sit there and I'm like, wow, this is what being a musician is. Actually, in Denver, I had an incredible experience. I was supposed to play for about an hour and a half. I played for about 2 hours and 20, and people were just calling songs, and I was playing them. In Washington, D.C., on my last acoustic tour, I didn't like the way that the sound was being amplified, and it was a synagogue that we were playing in. So I stepped away from the microphone, and I told everyone to be super quiet. And I sang without amplification for about half an hour, and it was magical. I can't wait to do it again. So I hope so. Maybe next year. Maddie from Roseville. What would you do if you woke up as Eminem for a day? As Eminem for one day? I'd go and I would buy a plane. I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would start. I don't even know how to get dressed. The problem is that probably by the time I'd actually get used to the idea of being Eminem, I'd be back to myself again, and then I'd miss being Eminem. Make some tea. Roxanne from Montreal. Do you sing in the shower? If so, what's your repertoire? I do sing in the shower, mostly when I'm nervous about something. Actually, I pretty much sing every time I'm nervous about anything, whether I'm in the shower or not. Um, my repertoire? Rubbish. Rubbish that's not supposed to be. Actually, mostly it's rubbish that's sung by women. That's my repertoire for the shower. Federico from Genoa. What is your favourite song by another artist? That is the most impossible question. That's actually harder than what's your favourite colour. I will have you know. There's so many. From a De Andre song, who was also from Genova, to I've been listening to Carole King's Tapestry album, and I sit there and I'm like, how many great songs can you put onto one record? I listen to Prince's Purple Rain. I'm like, how can you do this? Or so many Van Cohen songs, Tom Waits songs. As much as I'm jaded about the Beatles because we hear them every single day, you sit down and you look at some of those songs and you think, wow, in the context of the time they were written in, these things are just mad pieces of genius. But then you listen to an Ella Fitzgerald song or a Nina Simone classic, and you're like, wow, that's pretty amazing. But it probably has to. My favorite song in the world has to be Nature Boy, which was sung by Nat King Cole. And there's an amazing story around how it was written, which you should just find out. It's worth finding out about. Elisa from Laval, what is your favorite TV series? I am the only human being, I think, left in the world that still watches Cougar Town. It's the best TV show that has ever been made. It's pure, sophisticated, well-timed gold. Comedy, television gold. And I like it very much. I actually tried to get a cameo on it because although they pretend that they film in Florida, they don't actually film in Florida at all. They film in Culver City, which is actually where I've recorded 3 albums with Greg Wells. They film it all around, and that's in Los Angeles. So they actually filmed it all around the studio, and I tried to get a job in the coffee shop as a cameo. Not a cameo, but just like being the guy in the coffee shop that serves the coffee. I didn't get the part. Sheilin from New York City. Where do you come up with the inspiration for your songs? Often in the shower, or in the bathroom, or on the loo, on the toilet. I mean, I don't know why, but no. I get it. For a lot of ideas when you're in the bathroom, I don't know why. I think it's the intimacy of just being kind of closed up in there. Hope that doesn't ruin my music for you. Holly from Derby, depends. How would you describe your fans? My fans are pretty awesome. In fact, they're a mix of everything. I've got every type of fan, and you see that when you come to one of my concerts. I've got like fans that are 30, 40, 50, 15, 12. I mean, the whole mix, girls and guys, every type. And I don't know. I think my fans are a good mix of like silly and serious, and musos, and not afraid to like melody. I like to think that the perfect scenario is one when your fans are a reflection of you, because then it means that your music's communicating in the right way. And I think that I'm lucky enough to be in that situation. So I consider myself very fortunate. Francesca from Sez. Sez or Setzi? I'm not quite sure. What's that? Setzi. Would you ever sing with a metal singer? I mean, I've said many times that one of my favourite things growing up was Marilyn Manson and his shows and his records, the melodrama of those records. I don't really know. I mean, I would do backing vocals or something. I mean, I'm not quite sure. Katie from Doncaster. What's your favourite time of year? Well, now, actually, autumn or spring. Because in summer, you get good weather and then you get bored of the good weather and then you want it to be cold again. You just kind of get jaded. You go in the winter and in the winter you get jaded of the cold and you just want it to be warm, you know? But the thing is about spring and autumn is that everything's changing every day and there's a reason for it to be unpredictable, and so they're the best seasons. Also, I think spring's the most creative for sure. Anja from New York City. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? I see myself as the same person in 20 years as I am now. I see myself doing the same things, and I make music, I make things, I design things. I've got a design company with my sister and we draw things and we make stuff. We're about to launch a global swatch campaign, which is a collaboration where we've designed watches and made tons of things from artwork to applications for your phone. And so, you know, I see myself making things, making music, always making music, making melody, making drawings. And I think when you make something, you feel good, you feel happy, you feel like you have value. And there's nothing that can beat that. Nothing at all. Spending money, doing whatever, traveling around, still it's not as good a buzz as when you sit down and you make something out of nothing. So I see myself making things and maybe writing shows, a musical of some sort. Madeline from Hermanston wants to know, do I prefer blondes or brunettes? Now, the politically correct would be to say neither. I mean, not neither, but you know, either or. It has to be blondes. I'm sorry to the brunettes, of which I am one of. I'm betraying my kind. Henry from Calabasas. Is Mika your real name? If not, where did it come from? My real name is Michael Holbrook Penniman Jr. This is a little bit long to put on a record. Actually, my name is Michael because my father's name is Michael. But my mother hated that name. So the deal was when I was born that they would call me Mika. And my legal name would be Michael. But they would call me Mika. So I was Mika from birth. But for the traditionalist that my father is, he legally gave me the name Michael. Marina from Madrid. What does your song Lady Jane mean to you? Lady Jane is a gothic fairy tale. It's about a woman that has a special power. She can walk on water. She meets this man who falls in love with her. She walks on water to show off in front of him. He chases after her to get her, and he drowns because he can't swim. And then she's upset, so she chops off her feet and she jumps in the water with him. It sounds like I'm completely insane when I'm describing the song, but it's really good. Just listen to it, and I won't seem as mad as I do now. Tia from Chaska. Did you enjoy the US last time you toured here? Very much. As I said, it was one of the most amazing tours the last time I was there. I was doing an acoustic tour and had some very special moments and met some amazing fans of every type, both during the concerts when they would speak to me because the venues were small and everyone was just able to talk, even then afterwards, and it was an amazing moment. I will never forget it. One of my favorite tours I've ever done. I've done arena tours, I've done, I do festivals. I've just finished a festival tour. We did like up to 79,000 people in France, but still my US acoustic tour that I did recently was one of my favorites ever. Banan from Saudi Arabia. What's next for you in your career? I have no idea whatsoever. And it's always been like that, and it'll probably always be like that. And so it keeps me excited because I don't know if it's going to be what kind of year it's going to be. I could never have predicted the year I'm having now. I'm doing 2 TV shows and making a new album. I'm designing watches and stuff, and so it's creative. It's insanely busy, but I get bored easily, so it's okay. Joey from Nashville. What's the craziest thing a fan has ever done for you? Wow, I've had fans do amazing things. I mean, from fly around the world following a tour because they made it their objective, and that means so much when you see someone traveling around. It doesn't go unnoticed. To, had a fan name a baby after me. I was actually really honoured. That was one of the nicest things. Arunas from Bognor. What do you think about the state of the music industry currently? I think it's good. I mean, I think it's all kind of changing. You could look at it as falling apart, which in a way it is. But people are doing different things. Like, I look to place my music on films and on television and doing cool projects like with brands like Swatch and stuff, because it spreads the music and it spreads the word, because the old system of just releasing songs just doesn't work in the same way. So as it's not the same process. I think it's good. I think it makes us more creative. That's my perspective on it. Lizzie from Indianapolis. What is your favorite song to perform? At the moment, in America and, well, in general, in most places, my favorite one is Popular, because we started with an organ, and so it sounds a bit like church, and everyone in the crowd sings it like a big hymn, and it feels amazing. So it has to be a Popular song. Begum from Istanbul. Do you like it when fans throw gifts on stage, or does it affect your concentration? It depends. Sometimes it's really annoying. I don't know why people throw stuffed toys. Unless it's for my dog. I don't know why. But the worst thing is when people are trying to get my attention with a letter, and I'm in the middle of singing a song, and all they want is for me to read the letter, but I'm a little bit busy. That drives me mad. Katie from London, what's your shoe size? 43.5. 11 US, 10 UK. Does that mean you're sending me something? Nick from Nebraska, if you could collaborate with anyone living or dead, who would it be and why? Nina Simone. Finest male vocalist. Female vocalist, sorry. It's late. Female vocalist. And amazing rhythm, amazing classical influences in what she does. Just amazing artist. I wish I could have just seen her perform live. I would have. That's my wish. We're getting towards the end. Alina from Mexico, what's your favorite thing to hear from your fans? I love to hear how a song becomes part of someone's life. I write a song in, a little tiny room in front of a piano, and then it goes and it becomes something else. And I love to hear how that song can be transformed into someone else's life. Tracy from Boston, what would you do if you started to go bald? Wear a hat. For sure, but at the moment there's no risk. Andres from San Jose, what's your favorite sport? Anything that doesn't involve playing with a team. So rock climbing, water skiing, wakeboarding, it's my new obsession, hiking, stuff like that. Lonely things. Rubbish at football. Jordan from Philadelphia, if you were stranded on an island, if you were stranded on an island and could only bring 3 things, what would they be and why? Well, the first thing would be this thing. Come on. This would be the first thing that I would bring with me, because it's perfect in every way. And the second thing I would bring would be a toothbrush, because if you lose your teeth, you can't eat, and then you die of scurvy or something. And the third thing that I would bring with me would be music, because I would go mad without music. If you have music, you can stay sane. Okay, almost at the end. Harrow from Belgium, what was your reaction the first time you ever heard one of your songs on the radio? Fear. fear and fear. It wasn't elation, it was just pure fear. I don't know why. Maybe I need to speak to somebody about it, but I still get that feeling when I hear my song on the radio now. Fear. You're just afraid that your song's gonna, you hear it in the studio and you can control it. On the radio, it's out there. Katie from Detroit, when you go on tour again, will you keep the same band as previous tours? I hope so. I love my band at the moment and we all get along, and, musicians come and go. When they go, it doesn't mean they won't come back. So the band is a living thing. I like them, they like me, so at the moment we're all good. Julia from Luxembourg, are you excited to be a judge on The Voice in France? Do you have any expectations about it? Yes, I am excited. I'm very happy to be doing it. I like the other judges very much. I like the format of the show. I think it's really cool. And the only thing that makes me nervous is that I have to practice up my French a little bit more. Naomi from Canada, will you be releasing new music anytime soon? Yes, actually, I'll be releasing a few bits, but then obviously the album will be coming later. Caitlin from Princeton, New Jersey, what made you come up with your dog's name Meliki? It means queen in Arabic, and it was the name of my great-grandmother. And she's pretty regal. How often do you get free time? After this, I get a couple hours off, and then, no, from time to time. I took a big chunk of time off, so I'm alright to get busy. How do you feel about paparazzi photos? Like everyone else, really. I mean, well, just don't look at them. That's the most important thing. Mel's kind of falling asleep. Would you ever consider being an actor? From Gabriella, who is in Caracas. No, I'm goofy on the screen and I'm not a very good actor. I stick to making music. Are you in love with anyone at the moment? Yes. That was from Clara in Santiago. I am. Thank you very much for asking. Now bugger off. Ahoa from Germany. What is your biggest fear? I don't know. Lots of things, really. I don't like answering that. Sam from New York. What kind of car do you drive? I drive a 1966 Austin Healey red little tiny convertible. It cost me £5,000. Breaks down every single day. It's a piece of rubbish and I love it. It looks like a toy and I hardly fit in it. Jody from Northampton. What are 3 words you'd use to describe yourself? No idea whatsoever. I'll leave that elaboration to you. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. And thank you for Romeo for having me. And from me and from Mel in my study. Until very soon. See ya.